So the time has finally come. The awaited Riya hate video. Unlike my earlier Jake video, this video isn't to express my hope that Riya is somehow going to redeem herself in the upcoming All-Star season. I'm just purely hating on her. There is a beef between us. There will always be a beef between us. I'll try to keep this video short and sweet, but if it drags on a bit, I apologize. The downfall of Riya's character is something I felt needed to be studied because for whatever reason, I can't bring myself to like her character, which is strange because I love characters like Gret or Fiore from season 1. So what makes Riya different? Well, let's start from the beginning. During the early stages of season 2, we learned that Riya joined the show because her acting career in Bollywood wasn't working out, despite her efforts in trying to make a name for herself. She joined in hopes of getting more publicity and traction so she could get better roles. I find that to be ironic because the stuff she does later in the series would definitely hurt her publicity and image and make it harder for her to get acting roles, but I'll get into that later. Shortly after the teams were formed, Riya was considered to be an outsider to her team alongside Connor. This is because Yul had already started formulating an alliance that she wasn't a part of. As a result of being on the outside, she and Connor were able to form a small bond. Riya even gave some helpful advice to Connor when he was starting to feel insecure about his place in the team and was worried that his age was the main factor to why he couldn't relate to anyone. Riya told him to be himself. Connor did just that, which unfortunately led to him leaving the game. Connor may have lost out on the prize money, but he became a better man and was able to leave with his dignity intact. When he started acting like himself, we saw his true colors. But after he left, we saw Riya's true colors when she was faced with the possibility of being voted off. I cannot say she walked on the same honorable path as Connor. Riya's survival instincts kicked in when she found an advantage in the game. Riya proceeded to make what I believe to be the best play in this season by making Rosa and Yul swap teams. With things playing out the way they did, she was very likely to go home next. Not only that, she was able to separate Yul from his alliance. I've seen it time and time again. A powerful and loyal alliance can basically dominate the entire game if left unchecked. The best example being Boston Rob's tribe in season 22 of Survivor. They were quite literally untouchable. So when Riya made the play of making Yul swap teams, I was very much impressed. Because not only did she greatly improve her chances on her team, she completely destroyed Yul's whole game. Yul was an easy vote for the other team because of his terrible behavior towards Maggie and some of the other players. So Yul went from being the least likely elimination vote to being the most likely elimination vote. He was eventually voted out a few episodes later because the numbers simply wasn't on his side anymore. This big move instilled a little confidence into Riya. I believe this was the catalyst towards her actions later on, but for now, this was a good move that hurt the bad guy. I do want to point out something I found interesting. Something Yul said before he was forced to swap teams.
Screw you! With that attitude, it's no wonder why you have never and will never succeed.
At the time, I thought it was just a petty insult towards Riya, but Yul may have been onto something when he said that. After Riya stole the goddess that is known as Rosa away from her true friends, she tried to leech onto Rosa and befriend her. Riya spent the next few episodes building a little bond with Rosa, trying to get as close as possible. Then the merge happened. The teams were dissolved, which shook Riya up a little bit. She started trying to manipulate Rosa by saying she's likely to swap back to her original alliance with Lake, basically projecting her insecurities onto her. Rosa explained that they can all be on the same alliance and help each other out. Both Rosa and Lake even went on a little friend's mission with Riya to get her perfume back that she got from Connor. They genuinely cared about Riya and her personal belongings. You would think this action alone would prove Rosa and Lake's loyalty to Riya, and she would start trusting them a little bit more, right? Apparently that wasn't enough. Rosa reveals to Riya and Lake that she found the immunity totem while her and Riya were looking for it and promised to protect herself and her alliance. This was supposed to be a time to celebrate, but here comes Riya finding any sort of way to make this about herself and making a problem out of it. She didn't like the fact that Rosa waited to tell her that she found an immunity totem even though they were searching for it together. I'm going to explain why she's a stupid narcissist. Around that time, they only just started talking on a friendly basis. Rosa barely knew the first thing about her, so of course she wouldn't just outright tell her. There was no established bond until a few episodes later, and then the bonds were finalized when both Lake and Rosa helped her get her item back. If they didn't care about you, they wouldn't even bother trying to help you get your perfume back. So for you to walk in that damn porta potty, turn your face to the camera, look us viewers in the eyes, and tell us you don't fully trust Rosa makes me want to snatch you out the computer screen and kick you off the show myself. These two angels helped you out. They opened up to you and you repaid their kindness with doubting their intentions. Like, this has to be some sort of self-gaslighting or something. People can't actually be this delusional. I figured it was just insecurities bubbling up at first, but then Ali came in to Riya and suggested that she vote with her and the others to get rid of Lake. This is a complete test for her character. Will she be loyal to her friends and repay the kindness that Lake has shown her, or will she backstab Lake in a selfish and obsessive attempt to isolate Rosa so she can be her best friend? Unfortunately, it's the latter, and Lake is voted out. Riya even had the nerve to hug Lake after betraying her. This next part literally set me off again, guys. Her explanation for doing what she did was that she felt excluded. I repeat, she felt excluded. I repeat, she felt excluded. Ever since the merge happened, Rosa and Lake haven't had a scene where they were alone together. Every time they were on screen, Riya was with them. Call me Kaname Tosin because I cannot see these imaginary scenes where Rosa and Lake are excluding Riya. Did I miss an episode? Maybe Riya was hit with some sort of genjutsu of Rosa and Lake talking about how fake of a friend she is. Maybe the writers just forgot to write these imaginary moments in. This has to qualify for some sort of mental illness because there's literally no basis for her to jump to that conclusion. Riya is just trying to make up reasons so she doesn't feel bad about voting Lake off. Lake deserved to win. After the events play out, she just kept trying to justify her actions. She kept telling herself it's to keep her friendship with Rosa strong. That is, until she had a talk with Carol and witnessed her downfall. She came to the conclusion that everyone else was playing dirty, so why shouldn't she? The difference here is she's screwing over people who helped her and cared for her as friends. She reminds herself why she came here in the first place and is determined to make a name for herself and win. I believe her goals and actions conflict with each other. Sure, she's making it further in the game, but she's showing the world that she's a colossal narcissist and will do anything to get what she wants. She's making a bad reputation for herself, if only she realized that. So after backstabbing Lake and isolating Rosa, you would think that she would take both her and Rosa to the finals, right? Nope. She proceeds to frame Rosa as a thief and get her voted off, all so she could steal her immunity totem. You mean to tell me you did all this whining about Lake being too close to Rosa and feeling excluded only to turn around and betray Rosa too? You literally could not pay me to like Riya. She even tried to convince Rosa that what she did wasn't even that bad of an action because this was all a game. I always hate that line, like it's supposed to justify the horrendous things you've done. People in Survivor pull that line all the time when it's time to confront the jury. Like, just own up to your actions. Don't try to justify it. You knew what you were doing. You isolated Riya, then painted her out to be a thief, and finally you stole her immunity totem, which resulted in her being voted off. I'm sorry, but with friends like these, who needs enemies? I know that's a cheesy old line, but I can't describe the situation any better than that. Now for the James and Aiden drama she caused, I can't really be too mad at her for that. Yes, it was a horrible action that she stole James' phone and then looked through it to expose his messages, but James did say those nasty things about Aiden. So James' past action kinda came back to bite him. All Riya really did was bring it to life in a desperate attempt to throw James and Aiden off their game. During the finale, it was a bit sad to see Connor witness what she had become during his absence. He offered his help to Riya only because he didn't have a chance to view the last few episodes because he was busy with work. Connor called out Riya for her cheating nature and was disappointed at Riya's behavior, which led to him no longer offering his assistance. Riya truly didn't have anyone left. This came back to bite her because during the underwater portion of the challenge, she didn't have any allies to guide her, which led to her becoming lost. She pushed everyone away and was all by herself. Who do you think came to save her? It was the lovely Rosa, the same one she betrayed. I think we could all take a lesson from Rosa, that there is grace in helping someone who doesn't always deserve it, and how cheaters never prosper. Riya ended up losing the finales to James and losing out on $1 million, while James decided to give his portion of the money to Rosa because of her many selfless actions, proving once again that justice and love always prevails. Riya caused her own downfall and she has nobody to blame for it. I believe my dislike from her stems from the fact that she mostly screwed over her friends instead of the competition. Fury waited until she had no choice but to screw over Alec to betray him. While she probably wouldn't admit it, she did care for him and had fun coming up with plans to eliminate the contestants one after the other with Alec. It was like an evil father and daughter relationship. Riya, on the other hand, when it came to eliminations, strictly went after her alliance. I can't even bring myself to call it a friendship. I don't respect her or her actions in any type of way. That's basically the message of this video. I don't respect you, Riya. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I appreciate that you stayed long enough to listen to my hate video about Riya. While this is a hate video, let me spread a little positivity by announcing that I will be continuing my reactions to All Stars next week. I decided to push my season 1 and 2 review back a little because it would take a good few weeks for me to make those videos and fit everything I want to say in those videos. I'd rather not rush them out, so I'll work on them alongside other videos while I continue my reactions. So please do expect more discussion videos. They'll just be put out in a little more slower pace. But anyways, if you guys have any thoughts about season 2 Riya, comment them down. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you already haven't. I will see you guys next time.